Good evening to you. Glory and honor to our Father Yah and to Messiah, his Son, through whom soon the kingdom of the Father and of Messiah will be established in our lifetimes. That soon, through whom the earth will be remade and cleaned up, and there'll be no more sin and no more death and no more disease and no more wickedness. Glory and honor to the name of the Father, who we call Yahweh, and to Messiah, his Son, whose name is Yahweh Shah. The Bible calls Jesus Christ. Glory and honor to the name of the Father, Yahweh, and to Messiah, his only begotten Son, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, Yahweh Shah. Greetings to the 12 tribes scattered into the four corners of the earth according to Bible prophecy, and who are now awakening, the awakening tribes, to who their God is, to who the Messiah is, and to who they are. Greetings. And to the 144,000 among them who are the forerunners of the return of Messiah and the establishment of the kingdom, who are now being used to awaken Israel. Greetings. And to the precious ones among the Gentiles of Japheth, Ham, and Shem, who are now the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but who are of the blood of the Messiah, and have joined with the cause of the Father Yah, of the perfect righteousness of Messiah. Greetings. Greetings to the chat. Brother Gary, Joseph, Imana Bakash, Ricky Boyd, Brother Castle King, Sister Hebrews Rhonda, Brother Mark, Sister Castro and family, Crying Fish, Brother Don Hines, Brother Yah Free, Brother Lonnie and his beautiful wife Joyce and their family, Brother Stephen Kelly, and others. Greetings to all of you. Wednesday nights, current events, and a lot's happening. Let me say this. I've come to the conclusion from studying the word, and brethren, please, study the word. Study your Bible. And when I say study, don't do it as the Gentiles do it. Start in Genesis, read through the Revelation, and everything in between. And when you get done, do it again. Pray to the Father Yah for his spirit of perfect righteousness that comes through the grace given in Messiah. That he will guide you in his word, that he will open your eyes, that he will cause you to see what most people will never see. Because the truth is here, and is here for those that are Yah's chosen ones, the servants of Yah. So please read your Bible. But as I continue to read the word, as I continue to go cover to cover every year, the Most High is showing me many things, and I'm sure he's showing you many things. I'm getting testimonies every once in a while, so encouraging. But one of the things he's showing me, brethren, is that every single day, every day, prophecies are being fulfilled. Every day, prophecies are being fulfilled, brethren. Every single day. This week, you might be aware that there were two major events that took place that affected thousands of lives. One was in Morocco. I'm looking it up now. I want to see that something. One was in Morocco, where there was an earthquake, a very heavy earthquake. At this time, there were at least 2,500 casualties from the earthquake in Morocco. That's in North Africa. Okay. The second one happened very shortly after that. It was a major flood. A major flood that has over 2,500, I think maybe even more than that, 5,000 dead. Wipe out whole towns, the flood. And this happened within hours of each other. Okay. So now we saw just a few weeks ago a fire that took place in Hawaii. Was it 6,000 a mile? Okay. So you got, because the numbers are always changing. They're always, because first of all, 6.8 magnitude earthquake in Morocco. And what they were saying was, because of the magnitude of the earthquake, that they expect aftershocks that will be in the range of 5, whereas the 6.8 magnitude and 5 is tough. And they expect the aftershocks to cause deaths as well, because the aftershocks of this 6.8 magnitude earthquake. And they're still finding dead bodies from the Libyan flood. They showed where cars just swept to the edge of the ocean and into the ocean, and people swept away. All these within an hour of each other, a couple of hours of each other. And we know also of the Maui fire. Now, whether you believe this is done by engineer of some nefarious means of government, or whether it's from the Most High, one thing we can definitely know: the Most High allowed it. You see, the Most High can stop whatever he wants to stop and allow whatever he wants to allow. So then, if the Most High allowed it, what must we conclude? Well, first of all, we can conclude, we know, for example, if you and I are still here and we are still feeling conviction in the spirit and we are still repenting of our sin, that means mercy is still extended. Therefore, if mercy is still extended, if there's still time for people to come to truth and come to the Father Yah, and these things are happening, we must conclude that this must be a wake-up call. This must be a wake-up call. Okay? Yes, exactly. This must be a wake-up call. So we're getting the beginnings of a situation where the Spirit of the Father is withdrawing from the earth, and yet on his way out, he's doing two things. On his way out, on the Father withdrawing his Spirit, as it was in the days of Noah, on his way out, he's doing two things. He's sealing his servants, and he's giving final wake-up calls to others. He's sealing his servants in their foreheads, and he's giving final wake-up calls to others. Some people it's too late. Some people his way is beyond redemption right now. I know that sounds hard, but just look at the earth. Just look at what's going on. Just look at the people. Some people are gone already. Some people are gone and don't know it. Caught up in religion, and even worse, willful ignorance. You see, brethren, you can hang out in willful ignorance. That means you know better, but you want to act like you don't because you got your own pride, your own agenda, or whatever. You could do that. Some people will never return from it. That's why, as Hebrew Israelites, from the word of the Most High, what we are taught is to seek the Father, to seek his will, to walk in his ways, to walk in his spirit, to be repentant always, acknowledging our own sins. That way, we have a chance to be sealed by the Father in these last days, to be sealed by his Spirit, to be protected. You know, in the book of Revelation, there are two women. There are two women in the book of Revelation. Okay, we know them. One is the woman that represents the 12 tribes in Revelation chapter 12. In Revelation chapter 12, the 12 tribes. She's a virtuous woman. She's a holy woman. She represents the 12 tribes, which also represents the woman of Israel. You know, it's quite interesting. I was watching a short video, you know, the little short ones that's only like a couple of minutes long. And there was a man talking to a woman. I forgot the woman's name. I wouldn't even bother mentioning it. She's some sort of entertainer. But this entertainer apparently was involved with multiple men. Now, in the Bible, a woman that's involved with multiple men is playing what the Bible calls a harlot. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I felt sad for her, to be quite honest, because the man said nobody would want to have children with you. not a real man. And she said, are you a real man? Real man? He said, yeah, I'm a real man. And I won't want to have children with you. Well, there's many men, she said, that would want to have sex and children with me. He said, yeah, because they probably hate their mothers. And she said, no, because I could have sex with everybody in one room if I want to. And she didn't understand how dirty that sounded. That was the sad thing. She was sitting there saying that, not understanding that she is so far from purity. Not only like Mary Magdalene knew what she had been and was humbled when she came to the Messiah. Here we have a woman that is so bone ignorant of the whore she has become that there is no shame in her game. She didn't understand. She thought because she had a nice body, everybody wants to have babies with her. He said, no, people want to have sex with you. We were just talking about this. People want to have sex with you, but nobody wants to make you their wife. Not a real man. And she just sit there. Brethren, this is key. The woman, sisters, you represent the purity and virtue of the nation. You represent that. And always remember what Messiah said. Everywhere the gospel of the kingdom is preached, remember Miriam Magdalene. Why? Because she was a whore and she became a virgin. Her life was changed. She was completely enthralled with the Messiah. And him representing the Father caused her, because you see, when you have religion, you know what comes with religion? Guilt and no forgiveness. That's what comes with religion. So you get a combination of a God that hates you with a God that can never forgive you. And only this soft, flowery Jesus can forgive you. And since that's not real, your experience won't last. No, Miriam Magdalene understood through Messiah that the Father actually loved her and forgave her because she was repentant of her sin. So whatever happened before didn't matter. And it was such that what we need to remember, the first person Messiah showed himself to after he come out the grave was her. He could have showed himself to anybody. He didn't show himself to the disciples first. He showed himself to her first. The one that was the whore. He showed himself to her first. We need to remember, sisters, you need to remember that. You need to remember that you represent the nation. And brothers, you represent Messiah to the sisters. In that, as Messiah gave himself for his wife, the church, that he cleansed it, you should be giving yourself to develop your woman, to help her become the virtuous one. You understand? So I bring all that up. I got a motive for this, I bring all that up. We see Revelation 12, verse 1. Revelation 12, verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. This is a woman clothed with light, and the moon, the month, a new beginning, and 12. Israel. Well, and then, of course, there's another woman. Revelation chapter 17. There's another one. Revelation chapter 17. Revelation 17, 1 through 5. And there came one of the seven angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. First, I need you to understand, this woman is worldwide. Notice it, kings of the earth. She's worldwide. She's powerful. And she has enthralled in her the kings of the earth. And the Bible says, and the inhabitants of the earth, drunk off her. Okay? Verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And again, we know wilderness is because this woman is riding the government, the world government, in secret. Many people won't know, and that's fine. I used to get frustrated at that. Why people don't know? Well, now I understand. Not everybody's supposed to know. Only the servants are supposed to know. So Father here is one of the many, many ways he's revealing to us what the enemy is doing. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So we see 2 women. One's a harlot, one's a strange woman. One's a strange woman. And the Father Yah tells his servants in Proverbs. Is it Proverbs? Yes, it is Proverbs. Proverbs. Yes, Proverbs chapter 5. The Father Yah warns his servants. Again, listen, let's make this plain, y'all. The Bible is written to Israel and those who join the cause of Israel. The Gentiles that Paul is writing to in his letters are not Christians. They're not part of a Christian church. There's no place in the Bible that you will ever hear of a Christian church. You do hear of an Israelite church, the one that's in the wilderness. You do hear of an Israelite, the nation. You never hear of a Christian church because it didn't exist in the Bible. That's an institution that came later. That the Bible says men strange God that they use to divide the land for gain. The whole earth has been divided for gain by the sons of Japhet through Christianity. Anyway, here, the servants of Yah are being warned against a strange woman. Let's start Proverbs chapter 5. I'm going to begin at verse 3. I'm going to begin at verse 3 and go down to verse 23. Proverbs chapter 5 from 3 to 23. Watch. Remember what a woman represents now. Okay? Remember what a woman represents. For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. That's people that's looking to have itching ears. Those people that want to get what they want to hear and not the truth. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. What does the Bible tell us wormwood represents? That's a person that believes things out the imagination of their own heart and not by the word of the Father. Strange woman. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Lest thou shouldest ponder the path of her feet lest thou shouldest ponder the path of life. Her ways are movable that thou canst not know them. Listen, this is very important, brother. Strange women's ways are movable. You see all that's going on out here in the world. You see how many crazy things are happening in different areas of life, from the weather, from climate, and disease, and governments, and corruption. You see all the different things happening out here. Individuals killing, murdering. That's all part of the woman. Don't try to figure it all out because her ways are movable. The Bible already shows us what the end result is. Okay? That's all we need to keep our eye on. See, don't try to look at all of the 3-car Monte out here. Y'all know 3-car Monte. You go to New York. They used to do it down in New York. Dudes come out with a box and some playing cards. And you got to pick the red card. And they'll give you money if you could pick the red card. It's like they have the cards turned over and they mixing them. And it's like, you got to pick the red card. There's 2 black cards and a red card. You got to pick the red card. So dude is moving the cards. And if you could pick where the card is, you got to put some money up. And if you could pick where the card is, you could win some money. Most people don't do it though. Yeah, it was in Times Square. I used to see it down on Wall Street, down on Water Street, Wall Street all the time. They come down there because all the brokers be out there and they got money to lose, right? So people be out there, 3-car Monte. Okay. Well, that's what Babylon is. Babylon is 3-car Monte. You don't have to play the game. All you got to do is see the word. Okay. That's all you got to do is see the word. You don't got to play the game. You don't got to try to guess. Just the other day, brethren, please, when you're study your Bible. Study your Bible, brethren. And don't try to guess about prophecy. I see people come at me with they try to present some sort of doctrine. And one dude, let's give you an example. I said, can you please give me 2 or 3 witnesses for what you just spoke? Because if you can't give me 2 or 3 witnesses, we could safely assume it's falsehood. So instead of coming up with the 2 or 3 witnesses, he gives me this long thing about how I can't be criticized. And I said, and that he would never listen to my stuff again. So then I said, I simply asked you for 2 or 3 witnesses, and it's obvious you can't bring them. So let's do us both a favor. Then he tried to get some preacher's link. I don't want to hear no preacher's link. Listen, brethren, look, don't you ever, you want me and you to have a problem? Don't you ever say, this is what brother Raw told me on the Bible study. You better not bring no doctrine to nobody unless you got 2 or 3 witnesses. That's why I'm always giving you 2 or 3 witnesses. Are you following me? Don't bring nobody's doctrine because somebody said it, brethren. Then you just a follower of what may be a false prophet. You understand? The 2 or 3 witness doctrine is a biblical doctrine, a way to protect you from false prophets. And when I give you the 2 or 3 witnesses, study them and make sure they're real. See, listen here. If I say like, let's say I just used Revelation chapter 12, right? And I said, well, the 2 witnesses are Leviticus chapter 13, verse 23, and the other one is Isaiah chapter 12, verse 3. I just blurted out 3 scriptures. Does that mean they witnesses? Testing 1, 2, 3. Does that mean they witnesses? Because I blurted out 3 scriptures. Does that mean they witnesses? You know, but that's what people do. That's what people do. Okay? That's what people do. And what they're depending on is you just following it and saying, oh, I must not understand, but that guy's real smart, so he must know. No. Always assume, pray to the Father. Always assume, unless you read it, it's a lie. Just like with the media, brethren. Always assume they're lying to you. Always assume they're lying to you. Please don't just believe what they tell you. It's never exactly what it seems. I think y'all know that part already, right? I'm not telling you nothing that you don't already know right now, right? I'm not saying that. But listen, especially you, brethren, let me just tell you this before we continue here. Let me just tell you this, okay? Look, I'm not ashamed to say I was called to teach the Bible. I was brought forth from my mama's womb to teach this Bible. But I wasn't called to teach this Bible for my glorification. I was called to teach this Bible that I can send many brothers and sisters to the Father and let him show you the Bible. Do you understand? That's what I'm here for. That's why you never see me asking for no money. I never tell you you need to join no church. You understand? So when I'm giving you 2 or 3 witnesses, study them. Make sure I'm telling you the truth. And when anybody is teaching, they better, and look, I'm not talking about the book of Thomas. I'm not talking about Ecclesiasticus. I'm not talking about Maccabees. No. I'm talking about 2 from these 40 witnesses in here. 2 from these 66 books. 2. And y'all know what I'm talking about when I say 2 or 3 witnesses, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't just assume because it feels good in your gut. Sometimes that's true. You can feel, something, and something can be telling you, this sounds right. This sounds right. But you know what? Listen here. Brothers and sisters, have you ever been enthralled with a person because it just felt good and then later found out your feelings betrayed you? Has it ever happened to you now? Come on, some of y'all, a lot of y'all old enough to know. A lot of y'all been around the block a couple of times, so you know I ain't making this up. Have you ever been in a situation where your feelings just told you, this is it right here, this is it, and then you get up all day and find out, oh my God, what did I do? So then if that's true, then you have already proven you can't just trust your feelings, right? You can't just trust your feelings. Because you liable to make a big mistake, right? I praise the Most High for the truth because look at that. Y'all are related. I ain't have to make it up. I ain't have to. Y'all caught it. That's the beautiful thing about the truth, man. So when somebody come with a doctrine of any kind, prove the 2 or 3 witnesses. Prove it. And make sure that they fit what you're studying. Because I've seen some people come up with some mess, man. I'll be like, they just pulled that out the crack of their behind. That's what they just did. They just pulled this out the crack of their behind. I'm just being real. Brethren, not only we understand we're in the most serious time in the history of planet Earth. We're in the most serious period of time in the history of planet. Just think about that. We're in the most serious, we're at the brink of the most stupendous things. We're already seeing some wildness. Look here. Here I am in Florida, and some of you are in Florida. And what the weather people were saying is that this is the first year that we've had an extended 100-degree days. Y'all notice that? Last year we came here last summer, my wife and I, and there was 100-degree days. But this year, from June, right? Am I lying? Y'all know from June till today, it's been a string of 100-degree days. I'm talking about real feel 100. Like you could get, like it might say 93, 95, but the real feel is 100. And they've never seen a string. When I was coming up now, every summer there'd be a heat wave. Generally it'd be in July or August, usually July. And generally the heat wave might last a week and then you get a break, right? Well, there's been no break. It's almost a continuous string of 100-degree days. One day, my wife and I said, it feels cool. And it was only 92. That was the real feel. And he was like that. And I told her, I said, see, you know what? When it starts to turn cool, we're going to really think it's cold because it's been 100 since June. That's never happened in recorded history. Now, scientists have tried to guess with bones and whatever, what they try to say, well, we think, there was an ice age and there was a heat age or whatever. But in terms of modern history, they have never seen anything like this. Okay, they've never seen anything like this. I bring that up to say that's an example of stupendous things that we're seeing now that nobody has seen before. The level and intensity of the earthquakes the floods, the fire. They still, scientists and people that try to tell you what's happening, they don't know what caused that Maui fire. They still don't know what caused that Maui fire. That was just coming through. Okay, so brethren, we are at the most important period in the history of planet Earth. Not only that, you're seeing anger rise from among. First, let me just bear witness now. I'm not going to say this by myself. Are you seeing stupendous anger rise from among people in general? But in terms of the children of Yafet in the United States, you're seeing a rise of anger and rage that we haven't seen in this thing since the Civil War. It's all coming to a head, man. It's all coming to a head. It's coming to a head. We are living literally in the last years of this whole thing. That's right. Anxiety too. That's right. We're living in the last years of this whole thing, man. And so it's important that we seek our Heavenly Father. He's the only safety here, y'all. He is the ark of safety. And his word. And his spirit. This is our protection. Speaking of which, I don't need to read the rest of this proverb. I think y'all caught what I'm saying here. Because this woman out here, the Babylon woman, is crazy. You can't keep up with her moves. Okay. All you gotta do is keep your don't look for the red card. Keep your eye on the word of your father, and you'll be all right. Now, along with the things I already mentioned, there was a young brother. He was from Brazil. I think his name was Danilo Cavalcante or something like that. Let me just make sure I got this brother's name right. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Danilo. It was like, let me just read this here. I'll tell you right now. Danilo Cavalcante. Yeah, Danilo Cavalcante. Yeah, so this brother, 5 foot tall. Yeah, he's like 5 foot tall. He was doing life. Now, I don't know, again, you can't just automatically assume what the media is telling you is true. We know that. But according to media reports, he was wanted. He's from Brazil. He was wanted for murder in Brazil. They had him. He somehow escaped prison in Brazil, which ain't no joke. And he went into they said he went into the forest, into the jungles of Brazil. Now, they got big old snakes in there and all kind of wildlife. Well, not only did he survive, but somehow he ends up in the United States. And from what the media reports indicated, he was in jail over here in Pennsylvania for stabbing his former girlfriend 38 times in front of her 2 children, a 7-year-old at the time and a 4-year-old. He stabbed her to death, stabbing her 38 times. And so apparently, I'm just going by what the media report said this time. So anyway, they had homie in jail. Homie escapes jail. Okay. And he escaped jail 2 weeks ago. And they could not catch him. They had the area locked down and could not catch him. Okay. He managed to steal clothes, to change his appearance. He actually stole a gun. The guy caught him in his house and he got away. Dude shot at him and he got away. And they didn't know how this guy, and he was in a limited area, which they had on lock, and they could not catch him. Now, how did they catch him? Well, again, I'm going by media reports, so who knows how true it is, but I found this one thing very interesting, brother. They use thermal devices, thermal heat-seeking devices. What does that mean? That means they're in a plane and they send out a radar that's seeking movement, bodily movement from a body. I don't know how they differentiate between a person and an animal, but they're looking for it. They send it out devices, and they located him, they say, by the heat-seeking device. Yeah, and the helicopter, yeah, they go from the air. But this is the interesting thing I found. They caught him, I think, today, but they sent this thing out yesterday. The heat-seeking device from the helicopter and the plane. It wasn't a plane, what they said, but they said a weather front came through and blocked the device, so that they had to retire for the night because the plane couldn't, because the weather came through, and they couldn't find him. So then they came back today and put the device on again, located him, and then sicked the dogs on him. Now, look here. First off, let's talk about us. Let's talk about us. How are we going to escape? First of all, brother, we need to understand something, okay? First, let's look at Joshua. Joshua chapter 10. Joshua chapter 10. I love how this is put in Joshua. It's all over Joshua 10, but I'm gonna read from let's see. Where I'm going to start. I'm going to start at verse 38. But you can read the whole thing when you get a chance. Joshua chapter 10, verse 38. Okay? Watch. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to Gibeon, and fought against it. And he took it, and the king thereof, and all the cities thereof, and they smote them with the edge of the sword, and utterly destroyed all the souls that were therein. He left none remaining. As he had done to Hebron, so he did to Gibeon, and to the king thereof, as he had done also in Libnah, and to her king. So Joshua smote all the country of the hills, and of the south, and of the vale, and of the springs, and all their kings, and left none remaining, but utterly destroyed all that breathed, as Yahweh, Most High of Israel, commanded. And Joshua smote from Kadesh Barnea even unto Gaza, and all the country of Goshen, even unto Gibeon. Now here's the key part. And all these kings and their land did Joshua take at one time. Why? Was Joshua just a bad man? Well, yeah, I'm sure he was. But that's not why he took the land. Why? Because Yahweh, Most High of Israel, fought for Israel. Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, unto the camp, unto Gilgal. So the reason Joshua was winning battles is because the Most High fought for Israel. I know it's hard to believe, brethren, when the area of radar and heat-seeking devices, but this little man that they just caught just proved, man, a murderer, according to them. They could not catch him within a limited area for 2 weeks. Imagine you with the Father and the angels protecting you. Imagine you when he sends you out. I don't care what they got. It don't matter. It don't matter what they have. If the Father decides you should not be caught, you will not be caught. And listen, this is again why it's so very important, brethren. That's right. Remember Elijah. They looked Ahab was looking everywhere for Elijah. Could not find him. Could not find him. He was going to kings and saying, you seen this man? Could not find him. Second witness, wasn't it? Second witness. Look, that's what hit me. Because when they sent the thermal device out and the weather changed and they couldn't use it. So I thought, supposing the Father decide They're not going to catch you. I don't care if you stand. I remember reading one time about about tigers in Brazil. Matter of fact, it was Brazil. I remember reading about tigers in Brazil, and these I don't know what you call them. I don't know, researchers or whatever. They were looking for tigers, and the tiger is a big animal. I think they say it could go up to 200 pounds. And they found out they were walking back and forth looking for a tiger that they had seen and couldn't find him. And he was right in the midst of them and they didn't even know it. 200-pound tiger with the black and orange stripes and everything. Couldn't find him. Right. Peter walked right out of prison. Now, he's chained. He got two on his arms, one on each arm, on his legs, and he walked right out. And they didn't even know it. And of course, Brother Walter just mentioned all the times the Bible shows the Messiah walked right through the people. And they wanted to kill him. And he walked right past. In Luke 4, it said, I think when y'all just already pointed, but in Luke 4, they wanted to throw him off the top of a hill. Headlong, kill him. And he walked right through the midst of them. Brethren, learn to receive the Father's truth, receive his spirit, glorify him. And during the time that we're going to be going through this, brethren, let me give you a couple of witnesses. First, a couple of my favorite ones. I like this. Certain ones I just like to reach for because they just do that to me, right? But Isaiah chapter 11. I remember this brother was trying to tell me, well, we're all going to be brought back to Egypt and go across the Red Sea again. And I was trying to explain to him, no, that's not going to happen. The Bible doesn't say that. And I gave him the witnesses and he still wouldn't receive it. But no, we're now different than we were in Egypt. It's a lot like Egypt in that we were coming out of slavery and oppression, and our enemies are going to be receiving plagues. Yes, in that regard, the Bible says it. But unlike Egypt, all of the brethren, all of our fathers were in Goshen, right? All of our fathers come from Canaan and were in Goshen. The whole tribes, all 12, were in Goshen, okay? A land set aside for them from when Joseph was running things, right? And so when they escaped, they were coming out of Goshen. You remember that? But that's not our situation now. Now, let's take a look. Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11, from verse 11 down to verse 12. Isaiah chapter 11, from verse 11. In fact, let me read from verse 11 all the way down to verse 16. Isaiah chapter 11, from 11 to 16. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left. And notice the places: from Assyria and Mizraim, or they call it Egypt, or Pathros, or Cush, or Elam, and from Shinar, and from Amath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed, outcast and dispersed of Judah. From where? From Egypt? No. From the four corners of the earth, because we have been scattered into the four corners of the earth. Did y'all notice that? So this time he's not taking us from Goshen. He's taking us from the four corners of the earth. So we'll be in different places, having to be delivered or being delivered from different places of the earth. And that's why I say to y'all, brethren, please listen to the Father's Spirit. Don't make plans of yourself. I know I do it all the time, but the Father always spanking me. So I'm just telling you what he's telling me too. In all of thy ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Ask the Father, where should you go? Where should you be? And listen for him. He will open the door for you to go wherever you're supposed to go. And this is very easy. This is the easy part. But he will close all other doors and open the one you're supposed to go through. He will do that. It will be very plain. You won't have to guess. It will not be what you expect. I can guarantee you that. My wife and I were determined to move to North Carolina 2 years ago. Determined. We were down there. We were going down there. We thought for sure. I mean, we could both work, remotely. The houses were much cheaper down there than they were in Northern Virginia. We said, oh, we're going to go down here. We going to North Carolina. And then our landlord at the time where we were renting, she said, well, you sure you don't want to buy this? No. We're going to North Carolina. When we kept going and doors kept closing, we kept thinking, oh, we put a good offer in. No, doors kept closing. Doors kept closing. Doors kept closing. I started praying some more. I was always praying, but I prayed some more. I said, Father, what's going on here? Then the next day, I got a call from my landlord. He said, what's going on in North Carolina? Because they wanted to sell the place. I said, man, we run into door closed after door closed. She said, well, you see, that's why we wanted you to buy this house. And when she said this house, it's like somebody threw a bucket of cold water in my face. I said, wait, what? And we bought it. And everything went smooth as silk. Then all of a sudden this year my father fell. And he wants us to come down here. And all of a sudden the door opened. They fired me from my job the day I came to see him. I got another job. They fired me from that job for moving to Florida. I got another job. I left that one because there was no benefits and I needed to close on the house, and finally got the fourth job. But he got us through the whole thing. Opened the door. My father would never sell me his house. And he did. Yeah. He's doing better. He's being sent to rehab tomorrow. I was there today, and they said they're sending, thanks for your prayers for my father. I appreciate that. But they're sending him to rehab tomorrow, and he's going to continue to get treatment. He's making progress. So all the doors closed except the door that the Father opened. Not only that, my wife and I, last year, we were like, this is moving too fast. That's what happens, brethren, when it's time. I said, man, both of us, this is moving too fast. Maybe we should wait a month. So we were going to wait a month. But we had already told my daughters and my son-in-law they could buy a house. And not only did they get excited about it, that same week they got approved for a mortgage at a low interest rate. So now we know we couldn't go back. Here we are. Tell you something. When it's time, and that ain't the first time this happened. When it's time, all doors will be closed except the one door that you're supposed to walk through. Okay? This has happened just before. So pray to the Father that when the door is, they started doing that in Mountain Prakash. Sometimes I catch it, sometimes I don't. They throwing ads up now, live. But yeah, sorry about that. I think if you got premium, they don't do it. Yeah, so what was I saying? Anyway, look for the door that opens. That's the one to walk through. Look for the door that opens. The doors that's closed, don't keep beating your head up against the closed doors. Look for the open door. Father will show you. It'll be plain, man. And it'll happen fast when it's time. You know, like when Lot was told to leave Sodom and the angels grabbed him. It'll happen fast. Okay? So just wait for the Father. Don't move ahead of him because you'll get yourself in trouble. Too many people do that. This ain't about money. I ain't got to tell y'all that. This ain't about how much money you have or don't have. It really is not. We've been through this, my wife and I, too many times. It ain't about money. Matter of fact, lots of times our money got swept away and he still did stuff. You know, so yeah. Wait for him. Ask for his guidance. He will never leave you. He will always guide you where he wants you to go. And that's the best place for you. From that position, it doesn't matter where it is. If he has you in this place, wherever this place is, you're good. They won't be able to get you if he don't want them to. Period. I don't care what they have. Watch now. Let's continue. Verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. In other words, there's going to be peace among the brethren. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west, and they shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hands upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. Yep. And Yahweh shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea with his mighty wind. He shall shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day when he came up out of the land of Egypt. So it's going to be similar. And y'all know Revelation chapter 16 talks about the river being dried up, Euphrates, so the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. We also know, I'm giving you the witnesses, that's Revelation 16. Also in Joshua, before they crossed over to the promised land, the priests stepped into the Jordan River, and the Jordan River parted, and they crossed over. And when they crossed over, they got circumcised. So we got 2 or 3 witnesses right there. That's Joshua chapter 5, I believe. Look that up. So it's Revelation 16 and Joshua 5. Revelation 16, the 6th plague. So you have examples of what we're talking about here. Okay, wait a minute. I'll tell you another witness, though, for this here. Jeremiah, one of my favorite ones. Jeremiah, baby. Let's go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 23. Second witness. Jeremiah chapter 23. I'm going to begin at verse 5. And I'm going to go from verse 5 down to verse 8. Jeremiah 23 from 5 to 8. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called, Yahweh our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that they shall no more say, this is the days we live in, they shall no more say, Yahweh liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But what shall they say? Yahweh liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel, the seed of the house of Israel, out of the north country, and from all the countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. 2 witnesses. The seed from east, west, north, south. Never mind Egypt again. No, that's over. Seed. It's going to be led to the Sea of Glass. It's going to be led to the Sea of Glass for the Feast of Tabernacles, right? I'm not even going to use that as a witness. No, let me give you a third one. Third witness. I like this one too. Ezekiel. You know we got to go to brother Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 36. Ezekiel chapter 36 from verse 17 down to verse 24. Ezekiel, third witness. Ezekiel chapter 36 from verse 17 down to verse 24. Ezekiel 36. Notice I give you the 3 witnesses. Please go and look them up for yourself. Prove. You know what the Bible say? What did it say? The Bereans, what they do? They studied the scriptures to see if those things were so. Ezekiel 36, 17 to 24. Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman. Wherefore I poured out my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries. according to their way, according to their doings, I judge them. And when they were entered into the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, these are the people of Yahweh, and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, the Most High Yahweh, saith the Most High, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the heathen, and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. There it is again. See that? See that? So we will escape. And those of us that may be captured, why are we captured? We're captured for a witness. We're captured to bear witness. So if you get captured, just remember, that's the only reason you captured, to bear witness. Praise the Most High. But most of us, a lot of us won't get captured because we're where we're supposed to be. And the Father will bring us where we're supposed to be. What's an example of not being where you're supposed to be? The Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul was determined to go to Jerusalem. The Father told him, don't go there. He sent prophets every place he went saying, don't go there. And he wouldn't listen. And he kept going. He was headed there. So he was in the middle of Jerusalem. He shouldn't have been there. And that's when he got arrested, right? Father used it now, but it wasn't for him to go there. He was determined. He had Agabus tell him. He had sisters, virgin sisters tell him. Brothers was telling him, don't go. But he was determined to go anyway. Yep. And Jonah too. So you have examples of people that just don't do what they're supposed to do. You know how we are. You know how stiff-necked we are. So some of us going to get captured. But it's for a witness. Don't worry. It's for a witness. Okay, it's for a witness. Because we stiff-necked. But those of you who are listening to the Father and he's going to lead you where you're supposed to go, you will escape. They will not catch you. I don't care who they are. I don't care what technology they have. It doesn't matter. He's going to get you. Praise the Most High, John. Okay. Brother Walter, what's the Hebrew? Is it, how do you say it? Yana? 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 Or maybe you should be Yana. I don't know what you think. That would be Y-A-N-A-H. Yana. Brother, you just gave yourself a name. You just gave yourself away. Yana. I don't even know what it means. Well, we know what the brother did. You just surnamed yourself. Look at that. Praise the Most High. But we will be delivered. That's the bottom line, brethren. We will be delivered. As long as we are listening to the voice of the Father, which is made manifest in the Word and in His Spirit. As long as you're listening, He got you. Listen to the Father. It's a dove. It's going to fly away. All right. And be at rest. Praise the Most High. He's a messenger. Dove is a messenger. Oh, you mean like a carrier pigeon? Yeah, nah. Maybe we got something. Well, praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Yeah, I mean, man, every day prophecy is being fulfilled. Every day prophecy is being fulfilled. Every day is a day closer to the return of the Messiah. And our preparation is of the Father. Remember that. Please pray to your Father. Read His Word. Seek His Spirit. It's not hard. It's not complicated, brethren. People make it complicated. They try to add all kind of other books to it. No. It's very simple. It's one book, that one Spirit, that one Father. that one Messiah will get you where you got to go and prepare you for what you got to be. Okay? Keep doing that. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. I think we got a new brother. Yeah. His name used to be Walter. But now his name is Yana. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Shalom to y'all. Shalom.